Commander Reese Calder had survived meteor storms, ion flare tempests, and the political labyrinth of the United Galactic Coalition, but nothing unnerved him like the diplomatic reception aboard the star cruiser Aurelia. Every species from the Orion Spur to the farther Perseid Reach was represented. The hall shimmered with floating lanterns, gravity-woven banners, and harmonic resonance music that shifted pitch depending on the listener's physiology. This gathering was meant to celebrate the Coalition's newest peace treaty, one that had taken years of tense negotiation. Tonight was supposed to be simple. Shake hands, speak politely, and avoid doing anything that could start a war. But then she entered. The crowd fell into a hush. A woman stepped through the crystalline arches, her presence shimmering like heat mirage. She moved with the elegant fluidity of a being unbound by gravity's full grip. Luminous skin, silver, almost liquid, caught the light and refracted it into subtle prismatic hues. Her eyes were bright, almost star-like, reminiscent of collapsing nebulae. She was of the Veilorian race, mystics of the outer spiral, seldom seen and even more seldom revealed in their true form. Reese had read about Veilorians. Most people never saw their real appearance. They typically cloaked themselves to resemble other humanoids. The fact that she came unveiled meant something. Peace emissary, he recalled. Name, Erinda Velsha. Rumor said Veilorians communicated partly through emotional resonance. Compliments could be dangerous, taken too literally, binding or insulting in their culture, depending on phrasing. When Erinda entered, conversation froze. Even hardened ambassadors stared. Some with awe, some with fear, some with jealousy. Reese wasn't supposed to approach her. He was only there as security oversight. But as she drifted past, the room seemed to dim. Something compelled him. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps the subtle psychic undertone emanating from her presence. When she neared, dignitaries bowed, but she barely acknowledged them. Her gaze shifted, landing on Reese as if she'd been searching for him specifically. He felt it, like starlight pressing gently against his skull. "Commander Calder," she said. Her voice resonated, not quite echoing but layered, as though she spoke in two tones at once. Human, or survivor, bearer of unresolved grief. Startled, he exhaled. "You read all that from standing near me?" "I sensed it," she replied gently. "Your emotions are loud." The ambassadors around them grimaced. No one wanted the Veilorian emissary lingering around a mere commander, much less discussing his emotional state in front of diplomats. But she seemed utterly uninterested in the others. Only him. Reese felt every eye in the chamber drilling into his back. Protocol whispered, "Back away, salute, be silent." But something else whispered louder. "Ambassador Erinda," he said, voice steadying. "You are." He searched for neutral words. Something safe. Something diplomatic. But nothing fit. She was unlike anything in the room. Maybe unlike anything he'd ever seen. The sentence escaped before he could stop it. "You're the most beautiful here." The entire hall went dead silent. The air thickened as if the ship's atmosphere systems had malfunctioned. Several ambassadors paled. A Drask warrior actually choked on his ceremonial beverage. A Triton diplomat whispered, "He's going to start an interstellar incident." Veilorians were said to react unpredictably to personal declarations. Some took it as insult, others as a psychic contract. Others still reacted with dangerous, binding emotions. Rinda froze. A faint pulse of light flickered across her skin, silver shifting to deep violet. Gasps erupted. This, according to rumor, was not a neutral color. Reese straightened. He should apologize, retreat, or claim miscommunication. But he stood his ground. Erinda slowly raised her hand, placing 3 luminous fingertips against the air just inches from Rhys's face. She didn't touch him, just hovered close enough for the temperature around him to warm by several degrees. "Commander Calder," she murmured. "Do you understand what you've spoken?" "I do," he said. It wasn't diplomacy. It wasn't duty. It was truth. For a long moment she examined him, her star-bright eyes searching his face as if peeling back layers of who he pretended to be. The room held its collective breath. Then, her reaction shocked them all. Erinda laughed. It wasn't sharp or mocking. It was soft, melodic, like crystalline bells chiming underwater. The violet glow softened into a warm silver gold, radiating calm instead of tension. She stepped closer, not looming but inviting. "Humans," she said, shaking her head. "So unfiltered with your truth. So reckless with your words. So," her eyes shimmered, "refreshing." The shock wave of murmurs rolled through the hall. "I will accept your statement as genuine admiration," she declared, her voice rising so the whole room could hear. "And not as an attempt to socially bind or demean me." Some ambassadors sagged with relief. Others looked furious, because Rhys had just inadvertently achieved a positive diplomatic moment none of them had managed in months. But Erinda wasn't finished. She turned back to Rhys. "In Veilorian culture, honesty is a gift. Rare." She tilted her head like she was listening to something distant. "And your honesty has silenced the chaos around me." He blinked. "Chaos?" "Yes." She gestured subtly toward the diplomats, still whispering. "So many minds filled with ambition, envy, hidden agendas. But you," she said, stepping even closer, "showed me sincerity in a place full of masks." Rhys felt the weight of her presence. Not overwhelming, just strangely centering. "Commander," she said, "I would speak with you further. Alone." The whispers exploded into panic. The hall nearly erupted into argument. Diplomats from at least 7 worlds tried to protest that a military officer could not have private influence with the emissary, that this breached protocol, that humans were too emotionally volatile. Erinda silenced them with a single raised hand. The room dimmed as her glow intensified, shutting down all voices like a psychic wave. "I choose whom I speak with," she said simply. "And I choose him." She turned to Rhys. "Walk with me." They moved together out of the hall, followed by stunned silence. In the observation deck, the stars spilled across the glass dome in swirling clusters. Erinda stood with her hands clasped behind her, luminous hair drifting as though underwater. "You meant your words," she said quietly. "I did." Rhys leaned against the railing. "But I wasn't trying to break protocol." "You didn't." She smiled faintly. "You broke monotony." He laughed under his breath. "Glad I could help." She studied him again, truly studied him. "Your emotions are painful but honest. You have lost someone." He stiffened. "Yes. That loss makes you see beauty with more clarity," she said. "Perhaps that is why your words struck me." A soft silence settled between them. Outside, distant solar winds painted streaks of color across the void. Erinda continued, "In my culture, beauty is not appearance. It is resonance. Harmony between what one is and what one shows." She turned to him. "No one in that hall saw me. They saw my power, my rarity, my influence. But you saw me as what I am." "I saw someone extraordinary," Rhys replied. Her glow warmed. "Then hear this. Your honesty will be remembered long after tonight. Across worlds." He exhaled slowly, feeling the tension of the entire evening finally dissipate. "So I didn't start a war," he joked. No, she said softly. You began a connection. And for an alien who read emotions like music, that meant something deeper than either of them yet understood. As the stars shimmered above them, Erinda extended her hand, not hovering this time but offering. Reese took it. And the universe felt just a little wider, a little warmer, and far more hopeful than before.